explain how we are organizing this integration of social innovation into innovation ecosystems. That this is a big must now in the European Union. As you know, we are starting a new program focused on European innovation area. And I think this integration of social innovation and innovation ecosystem could be a big problem to be solved. And the experience I will try to introduce you is this project called Collaboratory Catalonia that is trying to develop this solution for this problem. Okay, let me see, how can I move the slides? I don't know exactly.
The arrow is, yes.
Oh, right, perfect. Right. Now, okay, this is our foundation. This is the foundation started in 2002 with the integration of the companies on the right hand, the government of the city of Barcelona, the regional government of the city of Barcelona, and also a group of universities. Okay, started working on the internet technologies. This is a classical 3 helix model. Okay, we achieve, it's not easy, it was not easy, but to integrate this kind of 3 actors in our foundation. Okay, in this research institution, our group particularly focus on this social innovation, what we call technologies for digital society. There are other areas more related to classical areas related with 5G, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, etc. But we are just focusing on this particular area. Following a little bit, we started working with Enolin at the beginning, 2006. And in 2014, we pushed this idea of empowering everyone to innovate in order to make real this philosophy of the 4 helix, okay? The problem we discover with this formula is for doing the 4 helix, you need before a triple helix. That means that you cannot do the 4 helix only with citizens, but you need to complete a little bit the triple helix with this leg of citizens, civil society. But this integration is easy to formulate, but difficult to build, okay? Particularly, we have this issue now. In the next years, we have the big digital and green transitions as the European Union strategy, but we still have this kind of separation between what we call the economic competitiveness on one side, that is basically the goal of this business-driven innovation. I mean, the whole European innovation system is still on this kind of approach. And the other side, we have this strategic idea of social cohesion in the European model. And this social cohesion is more related with this social and cultural innovation, okay? These are 2 legs that in principle operate in Europe, even make the philosophy of the European Union, so economic competitiveness and social cohesion. But unfortunately, the European innovation model is still mainly supported towards the economic competitiveness, and it is not clear how to integrate social and cultural innovation in this kind of a structure. As I mentioned before, we have this enormous challenge to develop from the European research area to European innovation area, with enormous social engagement in this kind of digital and green transition. Without this kind of engagement, it will not be possible to develop this kind of transitions. And that is concentrated in this idea of European innovation ecosystem, how to build these European innovation ecosystems. And then in 2018, we started this project with the regional government of Catalonia, because we have these 2 worlds in the region of Catalonia. In one side, you have this business innovation driven, in the classical triple helix. In a big part, I2Cat Foundation is still focused on this collaboration between governments, companies, and universities. But in the other side, you have an explosion of social innovation projects, more of them connected with members even of Enol, like for example, the City Lab, the Citizens Laboratory in Cornellà. You have also the Fundación Épica. You have also the Biblio Labs, I think the Library Living Labs. But also you have this community of Fab Labs and co-working spaces, citizen science, etc., vocational training, innovation projects, We have a real enormous, but it's not clear how to connect both. And this is, for us, is the goal of the Collaboratory Catalonia. This is our research team, a blended team between the regional government responsible, but also different engineers and social scientists from our group. And we just started to develop this project in 2018, before the COVID. And we started this project in the southern part of Catalonia, not in the Barcelona metropolitan area, but just in the southern part. I would say that the less economic developed part, trying to connect the regional universities, different industrial clusters with this community of Fab Labs, social innovation lab, vocational training labs. And that works very well. In fact, it was so success that inspired the continuation of this project of Collaboratory in the next region of Catalonia. That was the presentation in 2020 of this project. And we established a little bit this kind of tacit collab protocol. There are mainly 5 points. First, the idea of universal innovation ecosystems. We want to develop empower every citizen to innovate. We should envision a little bit an innovation ecosystem really integrative with the different elements of society. Second, a peer-to-peer relationship between the two kinds of innovation, business-driven innovation and social and cultural innovation. And this is not easy, how to establish a peer-to-peer relationship between these kind of actors. Third, a project-oriented agenda. If we collaborate, we need to envision and develop new kind of projects that blend together these actors. Four, a common governance structure, institutional and operational. That means that in the board of these kind of projects are also governments, universities, but also civil society organization in a peer-to-peer basis. And five, share funding contribution. Everyone innovates, everyone contributes. This is another important thing. You can contribute by funding, you contribute by giving hours to this project by free. You can give him materials, things, but everyone can contribute to collaborate in this kind of model. The idea that we developed is a distributed model of innovation, because this collaboration between social innovation and business innovation is related also with the territory inequalities. There is a lot of concentration of big triple helix institutions in the city and the metropolitan of Barcelona, but in the rest of the territory, there is plenty of more easy connection of these kind of actors because they don't have this kind of super power of the triple helix. And we explore this territorial distributed system, and I think it's a good experience because we are learning a lot of them. We defining the process, exploration, the entrepreneurial discovery in the real innovation strategies, lab co-creation, engaging all the stakeholders with these 5 points of the protocol, and collab deployment, trying to set the basis of the self-governance of this kind of collabs in the territorial. Initially, it was territorial. Then we developed these 5 projects in this collaboratory, co-creation and collaboratory, supporting emerging projects, dealing with how to engage the citizen in this project, how to support these collaboratories with a digital platform that was very useful because of the COVID. Even during the COVID, we continued to develop this kind of project. And finally, giving notice and develop a good communication policies. In 2021, we developed 3 more living labs in other territories of Catalonia, the North Territory in Girona, near the frontier, the French frontier, and central Catalonia. And we developed the same kind of experience we developed in the southern Catalonia with very good results. Finally, we're beginning to discover that in different collabs, there were 2 main interests. One was the health and the living labs related with the well-being. COVID make a lot of stress on this kind of topic. But the second was in relation with vocational training. As you know, the European Commission recommends use the DESI, Digital Economy and Society Index, to measure the advance of digital and society economy in the nations. We adopted this indicator for the regional in Catalonia, We discovered there was a lot of demand of digital specialists not covered by the professional and educational institutions. And we're beginning to work with vocational training, trying to transfer digital knowledge from the I2Cat Foundation from this secondary and vocational training school. Very important, because universities are in the main cities, but vocational training schools are around the region. And if you transfer and you prepare this kind of vocational training schools with the right digital knowledge, you can help them to transfer this kind of digitalization process to the whole community of small and medium companies in their own localities and in their own region. And that helped a lot to discover that we can transform weaknesses in a strength, because you can organize this collaboration between research digital centers, universities, and vocational training centers in deploying and strategies for digitalization and innovation around them. In 2022, we're beginning to consider not only territorial collaboratories, but also thematic around these two areas, health, well-being, and digital capabilities. And we build this kind of umbrella called Catalonia Collaboratory that support a little bit the coordination of that. We finally developed this kind of website and tools for creating this community with the idea of these universal innovation ecosystems, trying to envision how this collaboration between the triple helix and the four helix really can integrate each other in the new innovation model in Europe. Finally, what we discovered is, of course, in all we developed this action-oriented task force on social innovation that connect us immediately with other European organizations, the European School of Social Innovation, that deal specifically with social innovation, with this problem of social and cultural innovation, and that help a lot to integrate these two orientations in order to transform and giving alternatives to how to open up the European innovation ecosystems. Now we are exploring also this idea of this project of new European Bauhaus as a kind of framework that this collaboration between ENOL and ESSI, triple helix and four helix, in the framework of the collaboratory, we develop alternatives maybe for rethinking how Europe can be a more innovative and sustainable continent. And that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Artur.